to seal away an evil monster. This grand sorcerer plunged a 7-star sword deep into the ground. A crimson flame chain instantly answered the call, like a dragon hunting its prey, launching a precise pursuit of the demon. Once locked on by this fire chain, no monster could ever hope to escape. But this demon named Brahma wasn't so easy to deal with. In his desperate struggle, he swung his blade directly at the sorcerer. While dodging the attack, the grand sorcerer accidentally snapped the 7-star sword in half. When it came to brute force alone, the grand sorcerer was no match for the demon. To save his life, he quickly fled the cave. The demon tried to break free from the chains to kill him, but the 7-star sword was something no demon could touch. What Brahma had severed was called the scripture seal, a sacred artifact used to imprison evil beings. Although he managed to destroy it and the chains were unlocked, he still couldn't break through the barrier. All he could do was weaken the seal. As a result, Brahma's range of movement went from the original 10 meters to 5,000 meters. After the grand sorcerer passed away, the people within those 5,000 meters suffered terribly. Those who disobeyed were killed. Those who obeyed had their fingers chopped off and became the demon's puppets. To save the people in the surrounding area, 20 years later, the grand sorcerer's grandson decided to reseal the demon. He cracked the secret of the seal and restored it. The 7-star demon-slaying sword was also successfully repaired. Following in his grandfather's footsteps, he plunged the sword into the ground. The demon-slaying formation activated immediately, and the crimson flame chain was awakened once more. The demon Brahma struggled desperately, but at this very moment, he was about to ascend to the realm of immortals. Would he end up nailed to the pillar of shame? Or would he achieve immortality? Hey everyone, welcome to Jack's channel. Today's movie is a really great exorcism film from South Korea. Now let's get into it. Jack, a rookie shaman, had been making a living as a con artist for 20 years. One day, a wealthy family hired them to perform an exorcism. The moment he walked in, he raised his hand and shook his ancestral bell. In 20 years, the bell had never once rung. The bell not ringing was a good thing. It meant there were no ghosts in the client's home. That meant they could use their high-tech tricks to pull off the scam. On the other hand, if the bell rang, it meant there really was a ghost. Luckily, today they'd found another gullible rich family. To make the job look more convincing, Jack started off by putting on a big show to scare the clients.
지금 애가 문제가 아닙니다. 집 전체에 냄새가 가득합니다. 시체 썩는 냄새가.
In the corner sat a strange stone statue. He told the clients the problem was right there. You brought something from a gravesite into your home. That's basically inviting ghosts to move in. And wouldn't you know it, the couple actually bought it. They followed Jack inside to discuss a plan. As he left, he shot his assistant a look, meaning, hurry up and fake the evidence. Half an hour later, the stone statue was wrapped in white cloth. They also corralled the whole family into a circle. This was to prevent them from spotting any flaws. Actually, the rich man's daughter never believed these two fraud shamans. She'd seen their fake videos online before. Under this pressure, today they had to bring their A game. The atmosphere especially had to be on point.
청사원 수진군 오방영신 대령하라. 나무 남방적 대지신 나무 동방적 대지신 악기에 물러라.
The assistant had a remote control hidden in his hand. With one press, the blood they'd planted inside the white cloth would start flowing out. That bleeding iron bowl was also a prop. Another press, and a hidden speaker inside the wooden staff would play creepy music. They had this whole family wrapped around their finger. Even the daughter was a believer by the end. In this world, some people believe in ghosts. Some people believe in science. But Jack, he believed in the human heart. More precisely, he believed in the vulnerabilities of human nature. And just like that, he used technology to exorcise the ghosts from the rich family's home. Afterward, they uploaded the exorcism video online. But to their surprise, that very same night, a woman named Woo Kyung showed up at their door. She was willing to pay 50 million won to hire them for an exorcism. In all their years of doing this, no one had ever offered that much. It's not every day money falls from the sky like that. But what they didn't know was that Woo Kyung's home really was haunted. And the ghost there was the very one Jack had been searching for all along. That night, they set off immediately. After driving through the night, they finally arrived at Wookyung's village. But something about this village wasn't right. Every single household was holding a funeral. Every door had yellow talismans pasted on it. And the people here, none of them had any expression on their faces. The creepiest part? This village was shrouded in thick fog year-round. And the reason for all of this was because the demon Brahma was sealed right here. They then arrived at Wookyung's home. Inside a room, a little girl was locked up. It turned out Wookyung's younger sister had been possessed by a ghost. Following his usual routine, Jack shook the bell. But what he never expected was that the bell actually rang. His face darkened instantly. The bell had rung for the first time in 20 years.
뭐야 너?
니는 뭐냐?
너구나.
이거 아주 신박한 놈이네. 사기꾼인 척 사기를 쳐.
Jack had been searching for this thing for 20 years. He never expected to finally find it today. He quickly pulled out the 7-star sword his grandfather had left behind to confirm. As long as this sword reacted, there was no mistake. Actually, Brahma's real target wasn't the little girl. It was the older sister, Wookyung. You see, Wookyung had the yin-yang eyes. She could see all ghosts and spirits. That's why her eyes were what Brahma wanted most. Brahma had tried to possess her several times, but each time Wookyung managed to dodge it perfectly. Just now, Brahma tried once more, but the result was the same. Wookyung didn't know why she was like this, but after seeing it so many times, she wasn't afraid anymore. Right now, Brahma was standing right beside her.
박사님.
Although the ghost in the mortal realm had been driven away, he would never give up, because to break the seal, he needed Wookyung's eyes, so he sent his minions to monitor Jack's movements. As Jack drove out of the tunnel, he spotted a suspicious figure in the rearview mirror. He had a feeling this wasn't over, so he got out of the car midway, while the assistant headed back to tell Shaman Huang that the bell had rung. This Shaman Huang had once been Jack's grandfather's assistant. He knew this day would come eventually, he just didn't expect it to come so soon. That night, Jack arrived at Wookyung's home. Thankfully, he got there just in time. A moment later, and Wookyung's eyes would have been gouged out, but they still fell into a trap. The younger sister jumped out of the window. It looked like she'd been taken over by Brahma again. When the two of them rushed outside, they watched helplessly as the sister got into a car. They were about to chase after her by car, but Brahma had no intention of letting them go.
반쪽짜리 칼잡이부터 죽여야겠다.
Inside the boxes were bamboo tubes, and inside the bamboo tubes were severed fingers. Brahma knew an extremely sinister form of sorcery. As long as he cast a spell through the bamboo tubes, he could control anyone whose fingers had been cut off. Nearly everyone in this village was his puppet. Tonight, he was determined to kill Jack. He refused to believe that dozens of puppets couldn't take down one man, but he underestimated Jack's abilities. These puppets could fight, sure, but they couldn't touch the 7-star sword. One touch and they'd instantly lose consciousness. Then the bamboo tube would explode. Once one exploded, he'd just summon another. But he went through all 3 full boxes of bamboo tubes and still couldn't kill his target. Actually, there was another reason for Brahma's failure. Some of the fingers inside those bamboo tubes had been eaten away by insects, so they couldn't be used for the spell. To track down Wookyung's whereabouts, Brahma activated a spirit-linking ritual. He had someone prick Wookyung's sister's finger, using the blood to establish a connection with Wookyung.
보인다. 그년놈들이 보입니다.
At the same time, Wookyung was also trying to track down her sister. She'd heard there was a shaman who could communicate with celestial spirits, so they paid a hefty sum to meet this person.
어디로 끌려갔는지 그것만 한번 선녀님께 여쭤봐 주세요.
This shaman was actually quite powerful. She could not only communicate with spirits but also knew everything about past lives and present ones. For the right price, she reluctantly summoned the celestial spirit, who then possessed her body. She told Jack that what Brahma wanted was Wookyung's eyes to break the seal. 20 years ago, Brahma had been hunting shamans with spiritual powers in order to cultivate his way to immortality. To fight against him, Jack's grandfather planned to find a successor. The position was supposed to go to Jack. Because of his extraordinary talent, he could create a binding formation to trap demons in the shortest amount of time. But back then, Jack didn't want to become a shaman. So during his grandfather's test, he secretly swapped his own formation with his younger brother's. As a result, his clumsy younger brother was chosen instead. Then one day, out of nowhere, his brother vanished. Grandfather found an evil curse hidden inside his pillow. As a powerful sorcerer, grandfather knew exactly what had happened. So he performed a ritual for 3 straight days, trying to communicate with the evil spirit that had taken his brother. On the 3rd day, he finally got a response. Brahma told him the brother was locked in a cave. If he wanted to save him, come find him. In truth, Brahma's real goal was to lure grandfather out and kill him, because only grandfather's formation could seal him away. To eliminate this threat, Brahma decided to strike first. But what he didn't expect was that grandfather had come fully prepared to seal Brahma away. After finding the brother, grandfather pulled out the formation and activated the demon-slaying array, the very scene from the beginning. However, the seal wasn't complete. Grandfather had planned to trap Brahma inside the cave, but something went wrong. The 7-star sword was broken, and the formation was split in 2. Although both artifacts were damaged, it didn't stop the seal from working, it just weakened its power. In the end, Brahma was sealed within a 5-kilometer radius, and to break the seal, one would need to read the incantation written on the formation, but mortal eyes couldn't see it. Only Wukyung's yin-yang eyes could. That's why Brahma wanted to capture Wukyung. Now, if they wanted to completely seal Brahma, they had to restore both the 7-star sword and the formation. Jack already had the other half of the 7-star sword. All they needed now was to find the other half of the formation. Following the celestial spirit's guidance, they hurried to a place called Dragon Leap Mountain, because Brahma had hidden the formation there. At the same time, Brahma also learned of this information. To stop them from getting the formation, Brahma set up a barrier at the temple entrance. This barrier was invisible and colorless. Mortal eyes couldn't detect it, but Wukyung could see it clearly. If they dared take one step forward, ghostly hands would drag them straight to hell. But this barrier had no effect on Jack, because the 7-star sword was Brahma's nemesis. He quickly approached the temple entrance, drew the 7-star sword, and sliced through the ceiling chains in one strike. But that was only the first layer of the barrier. Brahma had set up 2 barriers in total. He planned to kill Jack inside the second one. This was exactly how grandfather had been killed. So Brahma wanted to use the same trick again, but Jack wasn't so easily fooled. Inside this barrier, he saw his dead grandfather and brother brought back to life, and his grandfather even stabbed him with a sword. Although it was heartbreaking, he quickly snapped out of it and brought his blade down in one decisive slash. The barrier shattered, and everything before his eyes returned to normal. After retrieving the formation, he kicked the door wide open. Next, they needed to find Brahma's exact location. A 5-kilometer radius wasn't huge, but finding one person still wasn't simple. The celestial spirit didn't give them an exact location, just a general direction. North to Red Moon Mountain, south to Gold Moon Mountain, west to Dragon Moon Mountain, east to Lonling Tunnel. They circled these 4 locations on the map and found the center point. That should be where Brahma was hiding, and their deduction was correct. But could they really get there so easily? On the way, Brahma sent out his strongest killer. This big guy chained himself firmly to the car. Using his 300+ pounds of body weight and brute arm strength, he planned to force the car to a stop. Sparks were flying from the soles of his feet. He was giving it everything he had. And you know what? He actually pulled it off. He brought a car worth over 2 million won to a dead stop. Although Jack had the 7-star sword, he couldn't keep up with Brahma's endless reinforcements. Using this one puppet's body, Brahma kept injecting new souls into it. Killing Jack was never the real goal. Brahma was just using the big guy to stall him so the others could grab Wukyung. After Wukyung was taken, the big guy lost his usefulness. He collapsed stiff as a board right onto Jack. Thankfully, Shaman Huang and the others arrived just in time. Half an hour later, they found the car that had taken Wukyung. The place was littered with corpses, all puppets Brahma had used and discarded. After entering the cave, to prevent Brahma from escaping, they first planted bombs at the entrance. Then Jack went in alone. The 7-star sword seemed to sense something. It guided him straight to Brahma. A fierce battle was about to erupt, but Jack was outmatched. Against a half-human, half-demon monster, he didn't even get a chance to fight back. Within just a few moves, the 7-star sword was knocked out of his hands. But this might have actually been a good thing, because the 2 halves of the 7-star sword were attracting each other. They snapped together and restored themselves automatically. when Jack was thrown to the ground. That's when he noticed. So while Brahma was gloating, he quickly pulled out the fully restored 7-star sword. His combat power surged dramatically. At the critical moment, Brahma played dirty. He possessed one of the puppets and locked Jack in a chokehold. Once he succeeded, he quickly left the puppet's body and returned to his own. Jack had been beaten so badly he couldn't even stand. Just as Brahma raised his blade, Shaman Huang outside started beating the drum. This drumbeat held a mystical power. Anyone who heard it would become restless and unsettled. While Brahma was distracted, the assistant charged in with a flash gun and fired several shots in a row. The blinding light made it impossible to keep his eyes open. Seizing this chance, they quickly rescued everyone and got out. When Brahma came to his senses, he chased after them like a madman. But what he didn't know was that bombs had been planted at the entrance. During the rescue, the assistant had grabbed the other half of the formation. All they had to do was burn it, and the formation would automatically restore itself. Then, all they needed was to plunge the 7-star sword into it, and the demon-slaying array would reactivate immediately. This formation was created by Jack's grandfather's grandfather. As long as you were locked on by the Crimson Flame Chain, there was no hope of escape. The great demon king who had terrorized the mortal world was finally nailed to the pillar of shame, and his soul was sealed away in hell. Alright, that's the end of the movie. Thanks to everyone who stuck around till the very end. See you next time.